I'm Maria Hudson. I'm married to Steve, and we have 2 children, Sam and Eliza. We've been coming to High Point for 8 years, and we've been members for about 2 years. And Pastor Nick asked me to share a little of what's been going on with us in the past year, so here I go. I'd like to start by reading James 1, verses 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. I've been reading James 1 a lot this past year, and it's been encouraging to me because Steve and I have been in the process of adopting for about 2.5 years. It feels like a long time, and to be honest, this time has been a trial for me. As I look back, I can see ways God has been working in me, just not in ways that I would have chosen. First of all, I don't like to wait for things, especially if it's something I really want. I'm a doer and a problem solver, and I want to be in control of things. I like lists and a plan, and if you follow the plan, then you get results. But not in this case. God is teaching me a lot about control, mainly that I have none, and He's teaching me patience and especially trust. Another thing God started working on was my pride. I thought we'd get picked by a birth mom quickly. My plan was that we'd get picked right away, and then we'd be on to our 4th child. I hadn't even met our 3rd, but I was already wondering, could we afford to adopt again? Is the house big enough for 4 kids? And will we need more baby names? It's embarrassing for me to share that with you, but it's the truth. Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. No one picked us for 18 months. And that's humbling, to put it mildly. When we finally got picked and thought, this is it, the birth mom changed her mind. I was crushed and a little bitter. Do I still trust that God has a plan for me? Is He listening to my prayers? I felt like He had turned His back to me. Then in August, we got a call about a newborn baby boy. Sorry. Without seeking God's direction, we rushed off. We rushed off to Georgia to get him. But things didn't go as we planned, and we chose not to proceed with the placement. Ultimately, we returned home without a baby. It's hard to explain how that feels. It feels like failure, it feels humiliating, and it's sad. Our small group really helped carry us through that time. They prayed with us and they comforted us. And I had such peace about our decision to not go through with the placement, and I still do. But sadness and peace can be mingled together. Talk about wrestling with God. A good friend said to me, you have to be close with God to wrestle with Him. And that really resonated with me because I did feel closer to God in that moment than in a long time. After Steve and I decided to not move forward with the placement, our family stayed at the beach for several days. We needed some time away from everything, and we needed time with just the 4 of us. And every day we would head to the beach, and every day our son Sam would run ahead of us to get into the water. I mean, he'd run way ahead, 30 yards ahead of me, running to get into the ocean. And I kept yelling, Sam, wait, slow down, be careful. He couldn't even hear me because he was so far ahead, and the waves were loud and he was distracted. But he had his own little plan that he was excited about. And finally, I got so frustrated with him that we had to have a little talk. I wanted him to have fun, but I also wanted to warn him of things he wasn't aware of. And most of all, I wanted to be with him, because I love him, and he's my child. And then it just washed over me. God was very gently revealing to me that I was doing the exact same thing with him. I was being a 6-year-old. I run ahead of him all the time, and I don't listen to his voice. And I make a plan and I get excited and I look over my shoulder to see if he's on board. God's been so tender with me through this all. I'm His child and He wants to be with me. I've realized I prefer the up-close wrestling. So I keep thinking about James chapter 1. Do I expect the maturity without the trials? And what about my faith? Will I only praise God and bless His name when things are good? No, I want to see the blessings in the waiting and the wondering and in the wrestling. Because while we've been waiting for one prayer to be answered, God has answered countless others, and our family's been blessed in many ways. And the work he's doing in me and in Steve is more valuable than anything. So that's what's been happening with us. But what do I do next? Well, I'll wait longer, and I'll trust God more, and I'll seek his direction, and I'll pray for more of his Spirit. I know he has a plan for me and our family, and I'll rely on his word. From Psalm 62. One thing God has spoken, two things I have heard, that you, O God, are strong, and that you, O Lord, are loving. He can do anything, and he loves me, but it's his purpose that will prevail. So what are you going through right now? Maybe you have children who are rebelling, or a loved one who's sick, or your marriage is struggling, or your finances are tight. Recognize that God is using that situation to mature you and draw you closer to him. Trust him and let him do it. It's not easy, and it doesn't always feel good, and it can take a long time, but you get to wrestle with God. Thanks.